I used to be really into making like complicated chord progressions and stuff in my songs, and this was like going back to just like major and minor chords and stuff like that. But if I would have used guitar as the main thing, it might have even sounded kind of stock or something like that. But with the keyboards, you don't even hear what the original conception of the song was. You just hear the textures that it's being pulled out of, and all. Huh?
You don't often hear the original form of the keyboard either. We would
treat
it from there.
Yeah, we would do electronic treatments to the keyboard. So the actual end thing is so far from the original
like
idea. Huh?
Like grew a process.
Yeah.
It would not be like the same.
Yeah, that's especially why making demos of the things wouldn't have worked, because we really used the studio as the compositional tool and as the arrangement tool. We'd fill up all the tracks with all kinds of ideas and then gradually figure out, okay, because we would edit each section, we would mix each song in sections, like, and do tape edit. So it would be like, okay, for the first section we're just going to use strings and bass and the electric piano and the vocal, and then the next section will have drums and note, and like, and whatever it is, like we'll have this guitar melody here, and we'll use these reverb effects. Each section was mixed like it was its own song, so it would be a different combination. Huh?
You should play Central next.
Yeah, Central's the peak of that, because we started to realize we could really get away with these crazy edits that you wouldn't think would work, but
that's why when Brother Matt asked you about touring, it'd be a little intense.
Yeah, no, because it's all made of edits. It would be very different
thing to try and do, but
yeah, it would be the songs in a different form. There's no way we could reproduce what we did on the records, but we could do something interesting. But yeah, it was like so. So yeah, we gradually started to realize that like you could get away with really drastic edits as long as there's one element that stays the same. Everything else can change, and we didn't figure that out till late. And up till then we were like, oh, make sure nothing moves of any of the tracks, and then eventually we were like, we'll move everything but one thing, and it worked, as long as that keyboard part doesn't sound like it's changed. You believe it when everything else changes place, So we would have, if we would have made demos, we would have had no idea where it was going, and we would have probably fallen in love with it in some form that we would have felt like we had to adhere to.
There was a couple times where we made rough mixes in, say, January, and then when we started working again on it in July, and we were going back to those old rough mixes, and we wound up killing ourselves trying to recreate it, and we would move on from that, but
happened. It's the end of the first hour, January 25th, 2009, Watt from Pedro show. Hold tight for hour 2. We got a jam coming. Watt from Pedro show. Start off the second hour with The Sea by Daughters of Fission, Arizona band. And then I'm Gonna Marry You by Connect 9. Then something from Brother Dale, Uno for Dos, what he call a tribute, do one bass for 2. And then something new from John Frusciante's solo album, The Empyrean, called God. And now we come to that point of the show for Brother Matt's Spin Cycle, and special edition because we get to jam with Josh and John, and Watt's even going to play bass, which I don't do much. I do it in the Shuka, right? Yeah. Did I do it another time? I can't remember another time. At least once or twice, but this is rare.
I didn't know that.
Well, because I'm always talking so much, and they got to hear me play bass too. So usually it's my guess, but I consider it an honor and privilege to get to jam with you folks. So, and Brother Matt. So without further ado, or hitting the mic, here we go with our jam.
Mm-hmm.